Okay, folks, I'm starting a couple of minutes. Who's saying late? The stream's scheduled for 12. What are you okay, anyways. We're starting a couple minutes early here because I want to make sure, just in case Nikki Haley actually comes out at 12 p.m. Eastern time, that we don't miss any of that. But yeah, folks, so apparently right now, thank you for joining us on this early live. Nikki Haley is supposed to be giving a quote-unquote state of the race speech where she's going to address, obviously, what's going on in the presidential race. Now, does this mean she's going to be dropping out? I have no idea. It seems unlikely, although, you know, when you sort of hype it up this way, that's what it seems like it's going to be. But honestly, it may also be something else, and we'll talk about that in a second. Either way, this is the big speech that Neocon Nikki has been hyping up, and we are going to react to it live as it happens. Again, thank you for joining us on this Tuesday morning. We will be with you shortly. All right, start the intro. All right, folks, we are live. Welcome, everyone, to the Nikki Haley Cope stream. Be sure to leave a like on the video, obviously, as usual. I guess I should say leave a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and as usual, if you would like to super chat your thoughts, comments, opinions, or you just want to support the show, feel free to do so. And obviously we have our super chat links pinned in the live chat. You can also do so here on YouTube. So yeah, as I said in the intro, Nikki Haley here is supposed to be giving some type of important speech in about 4 minutes here. I don't know exactly what it's going to be or what is going to happen, but here's the current speculation, okay? Obviously, the first option, and I think the first thing that comes to everyone's mind, is that she is going to be, of course, dropping out, right? Now, the timing of that would be a little weird because her whole game plan here has been that she's going to stubbornly stay in it at least until after South Carolina. I mean, the South Carolina primary is, I believe, Saturday. So if you're going to do this thing, why not at least just ride to South Carolina? However, if you want to do the Ron DeSantis and drop out before the embarrassment, because remember, he did that before New Hampshire, then I suppose there's an angle there. Oh, some random person is on the stage. But you know, it's Nikki Haley, and I think she has a very different temperament. And so I don't know how likely that is, but if she does do that, that'll be entertaining to see. The other options here. Secondly, she may simply announce that she's going to be staying in the race until the convention, no matter what. Okay, I'm going to take my 100 or so delegates all the way because I'm a girl boss and there's nothing you can do about that. I'm an inspiration to all the young feminists out there, right? That may be the angle. And who knows, right? Because to me, okay, here's why I wouldn't be surprised, necessarily super surprised, if Nikki Haley drops out, is because if you look at the campaign the last couple of weeks, it seems like it's been dead, right? Nobody has really talked about it. She, at least during Iowa and say New Hampshire, yeah, she wasn't winning any of those elections, but people were paying attention to her, right? People were noticing there was a buzz around her campaign, both for positive and negative, and now it seems to me that everyone's lost interest interest, right? Nobody even is paying attention to Nikki Haley. A lot of people have forgotten that she's even running. Of course, just a couple of weeks ago, she lost to nobody. Yes, nobody in the state of New Hampshire. She was also the first ever candidate in the history of the Nevada primary to actually lose the Nevada primary twice. Okay? I don't know how you do it, but only with Nikki Haley, all things are possible. Okay? So, maybe on one hand, obviously the campaign may have been dead recently, so she's dropping out. But on the other hand, maybe the only reason she's doing this speech and hyping it up is because she wants to revitalize the energy back into her campaign, because no one's been paying attention to her for good reason. There's no headlines on her. At least people will attract eyes if she goes out and just makes a stupid speech about how she's going to stay in it till the convention. The third option that some people are floating here is that she may announce today that she's going to drop out of the Republican primary and choose to run third party instead. Some people are speculating the no labels ticket, right? And that's the new party I believe Joe Manchin founded or whatever, right? Now, personally, that to me would really surprise me. And I'll tell you why. It's because as much as we dog on Nikki Haley for being an establishment neocon and really all the worst things you can be as a Republican, to me, it's always seemed like what she is at her core is an opportunist, right? And I've warned people about this before. Like, she may have the politics of Chris Christie, but she would go about it totally differently than Chris Christie, right? Say what you will about Christie, he's a clown, but at least he's a principled clown, right? When he says, I'm going to stop Donald Trump, I'm never going to support Donald Trump, he means that, okay? And I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Christie ends up running third party, or at the very least campaigning for Joe Biden come November, right? But in the case of Nikki Haley, she, to me, is a lot more subversive. Who's this guy on the stage? What is he doing? Okay, he just distracted me there. So it's always been my intuition that immediately after she fails or drops out of the primary, she would actually endorse Trump and try to get back within the good graces of the GOP, right? Because that's who she is. She's not so much a hostile clown the way Chris Christie is. To me, she's always seemed like more of a subverter, right? And so anything she can do to climb the ranks of power, she will do it. And if that means trying to kiss back up to Trump, trying to get back in with the good graces of conservatives in the GOP, like, to me, it's always seemed like she would do that. And that's why I've been warning people about this for the past couple of months, is that's her nature, right? So to me, it'd be very surprising if she decides she's going to run third party, because if she did that, she would permanently basically be disgraced among conservatives more than she already is, right? Whereas if she, all of a sudden became the biggest Trump girl, which I thought she would do, I wouldn't buy it, okay? Definitely not. I have been on the anti-Nikki Haley train since like 2018, 2019. I've always seen through who she was. I've always called her out. That's a neocon in the woods. But obviously, some people do have a tendency to forget, hey, you do a couple of Fox News hits, you kind of start kissing up to Trump again. Who knows? Maybe next thing you know, she is like a top conservative voice once again. So I've always thought that would be her angle. But at the same time, maybe she knows something that we don't, right? Maybe by doing what she's done, she knows she has permanently burned her bridge with Trump. It's over, okay? And conservatives will forever despise her. And so maybe her thinking there is, well, in some attempt to stay relevant, I'm going to run third party, right? And then, again, we also know she does anything for money or whatever it is. Who knows? Maybe they're putting up a bunch... Excuse me. Maybe they're putting up a bunch of money behind the scenes to have her run this third-party ticket, and that's what this is about. Again, folks, I really don't know. I really have no idea. I guess we are just going to have to wait and see what actually happens here and what she says in this speech. But I very much assume, regardless, whatever she does, it is certainly going to be the common Nikki Haley cope, okay? And that's what I fully predict. But yeah, feel free right now in the chat to let me know what you think her move here is going to be, what she's going to do. But I have to take a sip of water because my throat is really itchy right now. So, okay, very professional. All right, anyways, with that said, folks, Let me know what you think, and let's see if we got any super chats here before we begin today's early morning stream. And we just got one here. A glitched Evie says she won't drop out. None of these candidates, and that is so true. All right, with that said, okay, here she is, Nikki Haley. I'm assuming there's copyrighted music playing, so we will... We're fine. Okay. Here's Nikki Haley, folks.
Thank you all for being here. It's another great day in South Carolina.
Nice audio, Nikki.
And we're hoping for an even
it's worse
better
than mine.
Day on
Let's
Saturday. Go. Early voting is underway. I have a quick reminder to all South Carolinians. In a general election, you're given a choice. In a primary, you make your choice.
Very
make
insightful.
Sure you make
Thanks
the
for
right
that.
choice. Make your voices heard today, tomorrow, and on Saturday. Some of you, perhaps a few of you in the media, came here today to see if I'm dropping out of the race.
Correct. Right here.
I'm not.
Guilty. Okay, she says she's not, guys.
Far from it, and I'm here to tell you why. I'm running for president because we have a country to save. Since the start of my campaign, I've been focused on the real issues our country faces, the ones that determine whether America will thrive or spiral out. I'm talking about the millions of students who don't know how to read or do basic math, the families who can't afford groceries, much less a first home, the total lawlessness on our southern border. I'm talking about the murders in our cities, the fentanyl on our streets, the children who've been killed in their mom's car by stray bullets. And I'm talking about the American weakness that led to wars in Europe and the Middle East, and the urgent need to restore our strength before war spreads and draws America further in. These are the challenges I'm here to tackle. But instead of focusing on how to make America stronger tomorrow, some people want to know if I'm going to cave today. We've all heard the calls for me to drop out. We all know where
I wonder why.
The political elite, the party bosses, the cheerleaders in the commentator world. The argument is familiar. They say I
just
haven't
called
won
me
a
out
state,
there.
that my path to victory is slim.
Zero.
They point to the primary polls and say I'm only delaying the inevitable.
You are.
Why keep fighting when the battle was apparently over after Iowa?
It is.
Look, I get it. In politics, the herd mentality is enormously strong. A lot of Republican politicians have surrendered to it. The pressure on them was way too much. They didn't want to be left out of the club. Of course, many of the same politicians who now publicly embrace Trump privately dread him. They know what a disaster he's been and will continue to be for our party. They're just too afraid to say it out loud. Well, I'm not afraid to say the hard truths out loud. I feel no need to kiss the ring.
Really? Ask Boeing about that.
I have no fear of Trump's retribution. I'm not looking for anything from him. My own political future is of zero concern. So I hear what the political class says, but I hear from the American people too. I've heard from a retired Army medic who looked evil in the eye when he says we're headed toward disaster, that American lives are on the line. He knows what he's talking about. He knows we can't afford more of the same. That's why he told me to give him hell.
Yeah, you're a real tough woman, aren't you, Nikki?
I've heard from a mom who promised to email me every day, and she does. She just wants a return to normalcy. She wants me to keep running for the sake of her 4-year-old son. She hopes he'll see the, quote, America she grew up in. An America that's strong and proud and united in purpose. And I've heard from a high school student who just last week came to hear me speak. She asked me to sign a note to her teacher explaining her absence. After growing up amid the chaos and anger of the last few years, she finally has hope that America will make it if we make the right choice. I'm constantly hearing from Americans like these, hundreds a day, thousands a week, and hundreds of thousands since I declared my candidacy.
Oh, do they write you fake letters?
They see the same polls as me, but more importantly, they have the same belief as me. They believe in America. They believe America can do so much better, that we must do better. And they know when the country's future is on the line, you don't drop out. You keep fighting. In fact, you fight harder than ever.
It may be a third-party run. I don't know. It sounds like it, right?
That's why I refuse to quit. South Carolina will vote on Saturday. But on Sunday, I'll still be running for president. I'm not going anywhere. I'm campaigning every day until the last person votes because I believe in a better America and a brighter future for our kids. Nothing good in life comes easy. I'm willing to take the cuts, the bruises, and the name-calling because the only way you get to the blessing is by going through the pain. Dropping out would be the easy route. I've never taken the easy route. I've been the underdog in every race I've ever run.
It's just so inspiring.
I've always been David, taking on Goliath. And like David, I'm not just fighting someone bigger than me. I'm fighting for something bigger than myself. I'm used to people questioning my intentions, so I'll make a few things clear. Some people used to say I was running because I really wanted to be vice president.
Probably
I think
true.
I've pretty well settled that question. Other people say I'm trying to set up a future presidential run. How does that even work? If I was running for a bogus reason, I would have dropped out a long time ago. The rest of the fellas already did that. They have their own plans. I don't judge them, but I'm still here. I'm fighting for what I know is right, and I don't care what the party leaders and political elites want. I'll keep fighting until the American people close the door. That day is not today, and it won't be on Saturday, not by a long shot. The presidential primaries have barely begun. Just 3 states have voted. 3. That's it. After this weekend, we'll be at 4. That's not a lot. In the 10 days after South Carolina, another 21 states and territories will vote. People have a right to have their voices heard. And they deserve a real choice, not a Soviet-style election where there's only one candidate and he gets 99% of the vote.
He is, though.
We don't anoint kings in this country. We have elections. And Donald Trump, of all people, should know we don't rig elections.
It's not rigged. You're just freaking losing.
Americans of every belief and background are tired of our national mess. They don't want more chaos and craziness. They worry about a national collapse. If I weren't in the race, we'd be reading the exact same storyline every day until November 5th. There would be widespread reports of Americans suffering from a bad case of Biden-Trump fatigue. And it would be true. a stunning 70% of the country doesn't want a Biden-Trump rematch. The majority of Americans don't just dislike one candidate, they dislike both. As a country, we've never seen such dissatisfaction with the leading candidates. We've never had so many Americans mired in pessimism and division. We still have a chance to restore their faith. I will fight as long as that chance exists. Now, I know what Donald Trump is saying. He wants an election with no opponent. But that's not
You
what
lost
the
to no
voters are saying.
opponent.
Despite being a de facto incumbent, Donald Trump lost 49% of the vote in Iowa. In New Hampshire,
That's cope.
Trump lost 46% of the vote. That's not good. We're talking about almost half of our voters. What does it say about an incumbent who's losing nearly half of his party? It spells disaster in November. We shouldn't silence those voters like Trump wants. They have the right to keep speaking out. Trump sees this. That's why he and his allies are now trying a different tack. They're saying, I'm helping Joe Biden by staying in. Let's unpack that for a second. First things first, Joe Biden is doing more damage to himself than any Republican ever could. Every time he opens his mouth, he sounds like his mind is closing up shop. The Democrats are getting weaker by holding a coronation for Biden. Republicans will get stronger through a vigorous competition.
It's not a
We
competition,
have
though.
plenty
That's
of
the
time
problem.
to hash this out. If the race ended today, we would have the longest general election in history. There are still 8.5 months before Election Day. Do we really want to spend every day from now until November watching America's two most disliked politicians duke it out?
Yes.
No sane person wants that. But there's another reason Trump is wrong. At the end of the day, the only candidate who's helping Joe Biden is Donald Trump. Because Trump is the only Republican Biden can beat. The Democrats know it. They don't even try and conceal it. They don't even try to conceal the glee at the prospect of running against Trump. They
Yeah, good
wanna
luck
win.
when we boycott you in
So
the general.
they want the guy they've already beaten time and again. Trump knows it too, but he won't admit it. True to form, he's taking out his anger on others. He's getting meaner and more offensive by the day. He's trying to bully me and anyone who supports me. He says they'll be barred from
Good.
MAGA permanently.
Good.
That's not the way
Based.
you win elections. Well, I've dealt with bullies my entire life. They don't intimidate me. They only motivate me further. And I've never met a bully I couldn't take on. There are those who will try and paint me as never Trump.
You are.
That's not who I am. Never have been. I supported Trump in 2016 and in 2020. I was proud to serve America in his cabinet. My purpose has never been to stop Trump at all costs. Like most Americans, I have a handful of serious concerns about the former president. But I have countless serious concerns about the current president. Joe Biden has turned our country upside down. It's not normal for millions of migrants to illegally cross our border without being stopped.
I thought they're not
It's
criminals,
not normal
Nikki.
for our schools to be more focused on gender pronouns than reading and math. It's not normal to have skyrocketing prices and soaring crime. And it's not normal to have wars raging in Europe and the Middle East. All of that is on Joe Biden. But he's not the only one who's replaced normalcy with chaos. Donald Trump has done that too. It's not normal to insult our military heroes and veterans.
Womp womp.
It's not normal to spend $50 million in campaign contributions on personal court cases. It's not normal to threaten people who back your opponent. And it's not normal to call on Russia to invade NATO countries. Donald Trump has done all of that.
Out of context.
And more in just the past month. Look, I've said it many times. I think Donald Trump was the right president at the right time. But times change, and so has Trump. He's gotten more unstable and unhinged. He spends more time in courtrooms than he does on the campaign trail. He refuses to debate. He's completely distracted, and everything is about him. He's so obsessed with his own demons from the past, he can't focus on delivering the future Americans deserve. We have two hugely flawed candidates in Biden and Trump. Americans know it. They've been saying it for years, and we all know why. Trump and Biden are two old men who are only getting older. Nearly 60% of Americans say Trump and Biden are both too old to be president, because they are. We've all seen them fumble their words and get confused about world leaders. That's not who you want in the Oval Office when Russia launches a nuclear weapon at our satellites or China shuts down our electricity grid. We're talking about the most demanding job in human history. You don't give it to someone who's at risk of dementia. You give it to someone who's disciplined, someone who can work day and night for 8 straight years. No vendettas, no drama, just results. Even if Trump and Biden weren't too old, and again they are, Americans still oppose them because they know what they'll do. They've already done tremendous damage, and they're just getting started. Biden has crippled families with years of inflation. He's put welfare over work and doled out more corporate welfare than any president ever. Meanwhile, Trump added more to the national debt than any president in history. And it wasn't because of COVID, no matter how many times he tries that excuse. Now he wants to put a 10% tax hike on every single American. Just like Biden, Trump will devastate families and destroy good-paying jobs. We need to shift our economy into overdrive, not reverse. Most importantly, we need a president who protects America. Biden has failed this basic duty. As commander-in-chief, he tried to cut the military. He's made us weaker while our enemies get stronger. He withdrew from Afghanistan in a way that encouraged our enemies to do whatever they want. 3 years later, Russia has invaded Ukraine. Hamas has murdered Israeli women and children in their beds.
What's the point of this speech?
China is launching unprecedented cyber attacks on American infrastructure.
Wasting
Iran
everyone's time.
is killing American soldiers. At the same time, Donald Trump has plenty of his own problems on national security. He's all but said he's going to abandon Ukraine. That's a massive gift to Vladimir Putin. Now Trump is inviting Putin to invade NATO countries.
That's just
Those are
not
the
true.
Same countries that stood with us after September 11th. Of
Barely.
course we should ask them to pay more. We should demand it. But abandoning
That's what
them
Trump wants.
will only bring more war. Putin is already planning his next move. He's eyeing our allies in the Baltics. A Russian attack would put America at war. Russia isn't the only country that smells blood in the water. When the dictators in Iran, North Korea, and communist China see America step back, they rush into the breach. They think America's time has passed and their time has come. The truth is, Americans already know what Joe Biden and Donald Trump will do, but we're just as concerned with who they are. They're dividers at a time when America desperately, urgently needs a uniter. All they do is turn us against each other. Trump calls his fellow Americans vermin. Biden calls his fellow Americans fascist. Trump and Biden don't just demand that people pick sides. They demand that their followers hate the other side. Look where that's gotten us. Congress is too divided and broken to do its job. Families won't even talk to each other at the dinner table. We're separating into opposing camps that view each other as un-American, if not downright evil.
You're un-American.
These are dangerous times. The most important thing we can do is regain our focus and shared sense of purpose. The worst thing we can do is become even more distracted and divided. The reason I'm running, the reason I continue to run, is to remind everyone what it means to be an American. I'm the proud daughter of legal immigrants. I grew up as a brown girl in a black and white world. I saw our state move
yeah, really?
and elect the first female minority governor in American history.
Why don't you just be a Democrat then?
Republican.
Oh my gosh. Not divisive, by the way.
And in just a few days, my parents are going to cast their vote for their daughter for President of the United States.
Watch them not. Secretly voted for Trump.
I've thought this week about what that means to them, but I know what it says about our country. In the America I know and love, we disagree strongly, but we do it without hating each other and still have the same shared national purpose. In the America I know and love, we respect freedom, the rule of law. We refuse to use the awesome power of big government to punish those we dislike. And we recognize that America has done more good for more people than any country in the world. It's not America first to withdraw from the world. It's not America first to praise dictators who want to kill Americans. It's not America first to bankrupt Social Security by doing nothing to fix it. And in fact, it's America last to keep losing one election after another to the socialist left. That's what we get with Donald Trump. I'm running for president to restore a country that's strong and proud. That is why I will stay in the race after South Carolina votes. And to my beloved fellow South Carolinians, I ask that you stand with me. Stand with your family, friends, and neighbors. See the America I see. And remember that we can still unite and move forward together, not with anger, not with fear, but with faith and hope, like we've done before. Let's finally leave the past behind, and let's forge a new American future. This vision has guided every generation. It summoned me to serve as governor of this great state and as ambassador for the greatest country in the world. And that same vision called my husband to serve in the uniform of the United States. He's a major in the South Carolina Army National Guard. As I prepare for what lies ahead, Michael is at the forefront of my mind.
Please clap. She did a please clap. She did a Jeb Bush. Oh my gosh. Just yapping.
I wish Michael was here today.
Fake tears.
And I wish our children And I could see him tonight, but we can't.
Oh my gosh.
He's serving on the other side of the world, where conflict is the norm, where terrorists hide among the innocent, where Iran's terrorist proxies are now attacking American troops. This is Michael's second deployment. It was hard for us to say goodbye to him the first time when he deployed to Afghanistan. It was even harder last summer when he deployed to Africa. As every military family knows, when a loved one deploys, we start the year-long prayer. It's a prayer for their safety more than anything else, but it's also a prayer of gratitude. The kids and I know why Michael went. He stepped up to keep us safe, and not just us. He stepped up to defend our nation's freedom and our way of life. Michael is fighting for the country he loves. So are all of his brothers and sisters in arms wherever they're stationed in this dangerous world. They have made their stand because America is worth fighting and even dying for. Now I will continue to make my stand because America
She actually
is worth
cried. I'm
living
done.
for.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless South Carolina, and God bless America.
Okay, folks, let me turn off the sound. So there it was. There was Nikki Haley, obviously not dropping out. Basically, she announced that she's going to be staying in the race likely until the convention. And that basically sums up and shows that it was a pointless speech. You just wasted everyone's time. Okay, well, the whole thing was for attention. Oh, what's she going to say? Is she going to drop out? Is she going to announce third party? Nope, literally just, I'm staying in the race. Could have been a normal campaign speech, but she wanted attention. I don't know. I'll be honest, maybe that's good marketing on her part, but the most ridiculous part, she cried on the stage. Okay, literally broke down crying. Was it an act? Was it real? Either way, let me be honest about this. Okay, I don't like presidents who cry. I like presidents who don't cry. Okay? To show weakness like that publicly, you want to talk about being tough on the world stage. Yeah, how do you think Xi, how do you think Putin, how do you think the people in Iran and all that stuff would react to seeing she's not going to be the president, but hypothetically, react to the American president so over emotional that they can't even control themselves on the stage. Okay, that's a show of weakness. I don't care what you're crying about. You are trying to be the president. You are trying to be the leader of the country. You don't cry. Okay, you don't cry. You know, I know Obama did the same thing, and that's why he was a freaking weak man, right? It's like when you're the president, right? You are trying to lead the country and show the country you know what you are doing. You have your act together. You are in control, right? So it doesn't really matter the circumstance. I think I'd argue it's actually your job as president to hold it together, right? To hold it together, to no matter what, you always show strength, you always show confidence, you always seem like you know what you're doing, even if you're just as terrified or scared or upset as everyone else. But of course, that is not Nikki Haley. And that was a pathetic performance. But yeah, she's going to be going all the way until the convention. What exactly is the point of it? Nobody can answer this other than Nikki Haley's ego at this point. You know, you could say it's for money, but she's not going to get any more donations. Who is still donating to the campaign, right? It's over. Most of her major donors have pulled out. So at this point, I don't know. It really has to be summed up to be it's just an ego thing, okay? And I was thinking for a couple of moments there in that speech that when it seemed like, hey, she might actually go third party, I thought to myself, well, maybe she did a deal with the Democrats, right? Play spoiler for Trump. We'll give you this money. We'll give you a CNN contributorship. But nope, she's staying in the Republican race, which I more so expected her to do. And apparently she's going to go all the way to the convention. And frankly, nobody really cares. But there it is, folks. We will, of course, be live on Saturday to stream the South Carolina primaries, so stay tuned for that. But besides that, Nikki Haley's a clown. I don't have much else to say besides reading your super chats. So let's do that right now. As usual, feel free to super chat the show if you want to share your thoughts with everyone on the cope and crying we just saw. But yeah, let's get to some of these. Let's see, where did we leave off? I believe here. Okay, Michigan Gun Nut for $2, thank you very much, says, why is Hillary Clinton on the podium? And that's so true. The body language, the mannerism, the style, it's just so similar. And of course, when you consider the fact that, hey, that's her inspiration, she said it herself, this is true. I mean, even look at the way she's dressed. It's very fitting. Okay, next super chat, Sliding Edge for $5 through Streamlabs? Yeah, Streamlabs says, Nikki is a touch warmongering who made her fortune as our ambassador, who just happens, quote unquote, to care about illiterate children in the U.S. That is hard to swallow. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, she cares so much about the kids reading that when she was governor, her state was last in education, I'm pretty sure. So, good job on that one, Nikki. Pro-American for $5 says, it is going to be fun seeing her get destroyed on Super Tuesday. Well, you know what? At least, listen, okay? For us YouTubers, it's good for content, okay? Because at least we still have anti-Nikki Haley content to make, but also specifically, we can stream the election still. We can stream Super Tuesday. We can stream, all that stuff. Obviously, South Carolina. So, you know what? On a personal level, okay, Nikki Haley staying in the race is good for business because we have something to talk about, but at the same time, what is the point of this? I don't know, because you can't even say it's for money at this point because her donors are dropping out because they see the inevitable. Everyone knows. So I don't know what it is. I don't know. Gabe R for $2 says, sorry, I'm late. Did she drop out? Again, we covered that. But yeah, no, she's not dropping out. She's implying she's going to stay all the way till the convention because she said, I'm not stopping until every last American votes, which I assume, I guess, means if Donald Trump by Super Tuesday wins the nomination, she's still going to, no, we can still win. Okay, Donald Trump has the required delegates to be the president already. There's no path to victory, literally numerically, but we're staying until every last American votes. I don't know, okay? Like at this point, I even struggle to understand what her game plan is, what her angle is. I could understand just staying till South Carolina to be stubborn, but I mean, what is the point of running a campaign where you lose every single of the 50 states? You go 0 for 50. Oh, you really proved a point there, right? That's so inspiring. All the young girl bosses of America are going to be so inspired by the time that Nikki Haley, brave woman girl power, stood up, okay? She stood up to the old men in charge, and she went 0 for 50. Okay, she had a 0% success rate. The patriarchy wins again. We are so back. Very cool. The boys are on top. All right, so, that'll be fun. Okay, Miro409 says she took on 13 bullies over the weekend with her tweet. Yeah, that's what it's really about. They're just mean girls, guys, okay? They're just bullies. This is, of course, so real, yeah. I haven't made a lot of anti-Nikki Haley content lately, truthfully, to tell you the honest fact, because first of all, I mean, I react to you guys and your interest in certain topics, and I've noticed the views on the Nikki Haley content used to be really good. Like, it used to be, a hot topic everyone liked to see. But at this point, everyone's just over her, right? Nobody freaking cares. And so I haven't really had the interest to do it. Plus, I mean, she's just irrelevant at this point, okay? So there's nothing much to talk about. This was her little attempt at gaining relevance, but no, I mean, realistically, besides this stream, to tell you the truth, and maybe like a news story for 3 minutes on the major networks, does anyone care? No, nobody freaking cares, okay? But in Nikki Haley's little Barbie Dreamhouse world, you just have to go 0 for 50 to show all those old men that we have girl power. I don't know. It's like, I don't know what's going on at this point. I don't know what's going on at this point. Low-hanging fruit, Vince, says John Waters. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. You know, when she was at the height of her campaign's relevance and popularity, it was relevant to talk about, okay? And there are a minority of Republican voters who don't get it, and they needed to be woken up. But yeah, I mean, at this point, again, does anyone care anymore? You know, I mean, people's minds are made up. I would assume. Are there really still any undecided voters left in the Republican primary? Not really. Either you're already committed to you're not going for Trump or you're going for Haley, right? There's no split type of candidates like it's Trump versus DeSantis or Trump versus Vivek or something like that. It's literally just you're for Trump or you're against Trump, and if you're against Trump, you go for Haley. That's it. So, I don't know. Feel free to send any super chats because I don't have much else to say about Nikki Haley. Although I will put up this poll, okay? Let's put it up right now. I'd like to know your thoughts on who is more delusional, okay? Again, this is up for your guys' opinion. Who is more delusional with their presidential campaign? Cenk Uygur or Nikki Haley? All right, let's put up that poll right now, all right? I'm going to put it right here. Who is more delusional? Who is more delusional? Cenk Uygur, Nikki, okay, Nikki Haley. All right, folks, be sure to go vote in the poll because, you know, Nikki Haley thinks she can still win the primary, and you might say that's delusional, but Cenk Uygur thinks he can win the state of Vermont, which is also delusional. So really, that is an open question for debate. I don't know. I mean, let me know. Let's see what people think. Because, okay, 67%. So now it's moving around. But approximately 2 out of 3 of you guys are saying that Nikki Haley's more delusional than Cenk Uygur. And, of course, that is a pretty damning comparison for Nikki Haley, considering Cenk Uygur is so delusional. He is the guy running for president when he's not eligible to be the president, right? He's not a natural-born citizen. He's a naturalized immigrant from Turkey, and he thinks he can be the president, okay? So for Nikki Haley, according to you guys, to be more delusional than that, that's pretty freaking delusional. So those are some interesting poll results there. And it's now at 24 votes. And 54% of you guys are saying Nikki Haley. So Nikki Haley's still winning. Hey, guys, look, okay? Nikki Haley finally winning in a poll, okay? She's trailing in every single state in the primary. But there you go, Nikki. You won the Vince Dow poll we project in terms of being more delusional than Cenk Uygur. So congratulations, Nikki. You finally won something. Very good. All right, again, guys, last call for super chats. I'm going to end the stream here in a couple of minutes because I have a lot to do today, but it's nice doing a little stream. Again, big stream Saturday night. I believe it's Saturday night, right? Whenever the South Carolina primary is, promise you guys, we will be live for it. So be sure to stay tuned for that. But let's read some of the chat here, and again, feel free to super chat. Nikki can continue because the Democrats are propping her up. I see that angle. But I feel like the Democrats, if anything, would encourage her to run third party because she's not really doing much at this point staying in the race. And even the Democrats who were propping her up, i.e., what's his name? Reid Hoffman, right? The founder of LinkedIn, the Biden voter. After New Hampshire, he stopped giving her any money. Or even, I think, before New Hampshire, right? So, you know, I think if anything, the Democrats would prop her up to run third party, at least if they were smart. They would try to bribe her to run third party. That way, she can actually play spoiler to Trump, right? Honestly, if I were a corrupt, dirty, criminal Democrat, I mean, it's obviously illegal. Okay, so I'm not. I'm just saying, if I were in the mind of a financial criminal, and I were a Democrat, I would approach Nikki and say, run third party. You'll play spoiler because Trump is leading right now in the polls and stuff. But if Nikki is running a third party, you know, that could probably spoil Trump, right? But, you know, let's not give them any ideas on that front. But I at this point, I don't know if it's the Democrats propping her up because, yes, New Hampshire, around then, that was true. The Democrats have given up on her. They know Trump's going to be the nominee. There's no stopping it. So I don't even think it's that. I think at this point, it's just Nikki Haley's ego. That's it. Because what else is happening? No donor worth their salt is going to keep giving this money for what? There's no point to it. It's not going to go anywhere. Yeah, Donald Trump is going to look so weak when he wins all 50 states. If anything, right? If anything, him beating Nikki Haley over and over and over again is only going to make Nikki Haley look stupid, and it's going to confirm that Trump is very strong because it will leave no doubt for Donald Trump, right? There's no, oh, well, the primary was over before it began, so they never really got a fair chance. There won't be any of that. It will be Donald Trump beat an active Nikki Haley in freaking every state in the country, So I don't know. But, Sticky Rice says, nah, that'll spoil Biden more. I mean, that is actually an interesting point. It's possible. It's possible. Who knows? All right, let's take a look here. Leo Price is saying answer. Answer what? What is he talking about? Leo Price, I don't know what you're referring to. I don't see your comment there. But anyways, folks, let's see what else we got going on here. Again, Nikki Haley beating Cenk Uygur, now 60-40. Okay, very interesting, folks. Very interesting. Be sure to get the stream to 100 likes, by the way. We are at 96 likes. Let's get the stream to 100 likes before we call it a morning/afternoon here. G says fake crying, in my opinion. She had a sip of water right before the waterworks came. Sus. Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? But, as everyone knows about Nikki Haley, she loves her husband very much, right? She definitely is very loyal to him. Really, they're the true lovebirds there. It's just a model American family. Okay, everyone knows this. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Everyone knows this. So, No, Leo Price, I disavow. I disavow. Sorry, nice try, FBI. Nice try, FBI. I disavow. Okay? Ted's always in the chat trying to entrap me. Hey, do you like blank, blank, blank? No, I don't. Do you like committing tax fraud? No. Okay? You fed? All the time. Anyone in the chat who says something I disagree with is a fed. This is, of course, true. Okay? But anyways, folks. All right, we're going to wrap it up here in about a second. But RFK Jr. is running independent, so that'll help Trump since there is no Biden base fans. I think he'll take from both, but I do think, yes, he will take more from Biden than Trump. But, who knows? We'll have to see what actually happens there. Truthfully, I don't know if in the end he'll make a major difference in the election, but I don't know. Could make the small difference. I mean, I think a state like, say, Minnesota, which is not a swing state anyway, I think Biden will still win it, but just in theory. Or New Hampshire, I think if RFK gets on the ballot in New Hampshire, he could tip it for Trump because you're going to get a lot of independent. It's a state with a lot of those weird sort of populist independent voters, right? So I think a place like that, he could actually play spoiler for Biden and maybe win, a few votes for Trump there. But I don't know. We'll definitely have to see. Okay. He says, bro, I live in the UK. I mean, if you live in the UK, then what you're doing on the internet's even worse, okay? Because you know what they do in the internet for people who say stuff like that in your country, okay? I assume you're some 16-year-old kid messing around, and, I get it. I'm not gonna snitch or anything, but I'm just telling you, okay? Especially, you say, bro, I live in the UK. Okay, let me just give you a little online literacy lesson here, okay? It's one thing to make edgy jokes. It's one thing to do whatever. But, don't say stuff like that on the internet, okay? Just don't say it, especially in your country. Your country is the same place where that one guy, I forgot who it was, but you remember this? He taught his pug, his dog, to do, the Hitler salute, and it was an obvious joke, right? He's obviously, messing around, and UK sent him to jail for, 3 years, okay? That's the country where speech like that, even on the internet, gets you arrested, and you're going out there and saying that. Again, I assume you're just some kid in, what do you guys call it? Primary school? Or you guys call it secondary school? I don't know. Okay? I'm just telling you right now, as obviously you subscribe to this channel, okay? Don't say stuff like that on the internet. All right? I get it. Oh, you think it's funny? You think it's edgy? I get it. But doing jail over something that dumb is not worth it, okay? I'm just telling you that right now. And especially in your country, okay? It's one thing to get imprisoned for actually like standing up to the system. It's another thing to just literally be trolling and for no purpose, and then you get thrown in jail for that. Like, that's really stupid. So I'm just telling you right now, I'm giving you, and this is for everyone who fed posts on the internet, I'm just giving you a warning, okay? I'm not saying I'm going to do anything about it, obviously, okay? I'm actually looking out for you by saying you just shouldn't say that stuff on the internet, okay? All right? You're talking about the place where there's a permanent paper trail of everything you say and it can be easily tracked, okay? If you're going to make jokes, make them in real life. Don't make them over the phone, all right? You ever seen a movie on, you know how that stuff works? Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay? Just and you know, you can say, "Oh, I'm cucked," whatever. No, I'm actually looking out for you. Okay? I'm actually looking out for you. All right? And I say the same thing to American people who say stuff like on the internet, they'll say, "We need to take up blank against the government. I'm so over I say, stop saying that stuff public. Like, are you okay? Like, do you understand that? Like, don't I don't know. Like, don't say that with your freaking digital paper trail everywhere. You know, like, whatever. I'm just saying. Okay. Ever heard of commitment to the bit? I know, but I don't want to see some 16-year-old kid get locked up in jail for making jokes on the internet. Okay, like, look, I've been in middle school, I've been in high school, I know what you're doing, but I'm telling you right now, in the world today, okay, it is not smart. That's what I'm trying to tell. And I'm not just talking to this kid. I'm talking to everyone, right? Don't fed post on the internet, in comment sections, even in private messages. I would say, you know, if you're gonna say stuff like, don't leave a paper trail of potentially incriminating things you're gonna say. I'm just saying that. Actually, it's not a paper trail. Paper trail is one thing. Don't leave a digital trail. Okay, that is. And you think if they want to, they can't find out where it came from? They can always find out. Okay, they can always find out. Oh, but they don't have a FISA warrant to look into me. Yeah, has that ever stopped them before? No, it doesn't. It's just the truth. It's just the truth, okay? The first rule about the young man revolution is to not talk about the young man revolution. Exactly. All right? Anyways, folks. Okay, with that said, we're going to cut the stream off here. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Again, Saturday, we will be live for the South Carolina primary to watch Nikki Haley lose and cope and cry yet again. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe before you go. And until next time, Alpha Moves Only. God bless. Have a very great rest of your day, and peace.